If your tea practice feels serious, you might be holding it too tightly. Welcome to Fairy Crane Tea Podcast, Tea Talk with Dawn. I'm your host, Dawn. I'm outside again today, and even before I start speaking, I can feel that something is different. The air feels warmer than it did before. There's more movement in the trees, and the sounds feel a little more alive. And even the way I'm sitting feels lighter. Not because I decided it should feel that way, but because I'm noticing it. And that's actually where I want to begin today. Not with an idea, but with a feeling. In the last episode, we talked about living tea. How tea begins to move beyond something structured and starts to appear in small, everyday moments. Moments that aren't planned, moments that aren't set up, just part of your day. But once that begins, something else starts to show up, and it's something people don't usually expect. Joy, not excitement, not something loud or obvious, but a kind of quiet ease that you might not even notice at first. It doesn't feel like something new has been added. It feels more like something unnecessary has been removed. A lot of people don't experience this part because somewhere along the way, tea becomes something they're trying to do correctly. There's a subtle pressure that builds. It doesn't always sound intense. Sometimes it's very quiet. Am I doing this right? Is this the right temperature? Should I be pouring this way? And again, those questions aren't wrong. They're part of learning. But if they stay too long, they start to shape the experience. Instead of tea becoming something you enter into, it becomes something you're trying to manage. And I've seen this happen many times. I've experienced it myself. Someone begins learning tea, and at first, everything feels open. There's curiosity, there's interest, and there's a sense of discovery. And that is a really important phase. But then something shifts. They begin focusing on getting it right, understanding every detail, and making sure nothing is off. And slowly the experience becomes tighter, more controlled, more measured. And without realizing it, they've lost the part that made them feel connected in the first place. Joy doesn't come from doing tea perfectly. It comes from no longer needing it to be perfect. And that's a very different relationship because now you're not trying to arrive somewhere. You're allowing something to unfold. And there are two ways to approach tea. One is trying to recreate something you've seen, trying to match a standard, trying to make sure everything is correct. And this often feels like slight tension, constant adjustment, quiet judgment. The other is allowing the experience to unfold, even if it's simple, even if it's not exact, and even if it changes every single time. And this feels like space, ease, openness. Imagine sitting with tea and instead of adjusting everything, you just let it be what it is. The water might not be perfect. The timing might not be exact. There may be small things you would normally fix, but instead you stay with it. and something begins to shift. You're not dividing your attention anymore, and you're not partly here and partly correcting. You're just here. And that changes everything. If you have tea with you, try this slowly. Prepare your tea as you normally would. Don't change anything yet. Go through your usual steps, and then at some point, stop adjusting. Not suddenly, just notice the moment where you would normally fix something and don't. Let it remain slightly imperfect. Continue pouring, continue drinking, and notice what happens. Is there discomfort? A feeling that something is incomplete? Do you feel the urge to correct it? Or does something begin to soften? Joy in tea is very subtle. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't arrive as a big realization. It appears in small moments like not rushing to fix something, not judging the outcome, and not needing it to be different. In those moments, they start to feel lighter, not because the tea changed, but because your relationship to it changed. This is part of what summer represents. Spring builds awareness. It gives you structure. It gives you something to work with. But summer allows that awareness to open, less controlled, less contained, more alive. So I'll leave you with this. Where in your tea practice are you holding things too tightly? And what happens if you loosen that just a little? You don't have to change everything. Just notice where there is pressure and allow a small amount of space. If you'd like to go deeper into this practice, we've created full tea lessons available on our website and through Patreon, where everything is structured in a way you can return to anytime. And if you want to stay connected, you can find us on Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, and that's where we share more of this through daily life and practice. This is the Fairy Crane Tea Podcast, Tea Talk with Dawn, and I'm Dawn. Enjoy your next cup of tea, and I'll see you in the next episode.